on the table to be brought up at this meeting.
Okay.
So,
Is there any new business that needs to be brought up?
Just a question.
Yes.
The park has further. Do you know any?
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, we started off field day. Obviously, it took a little longer to get set up than we wanted just due to heat, exhaustion, stuff like that. But we did get set up and started going. Dinner was a tad bit late, but we got it up. It was absolutely delicious. We gave some great prizes away, and we took down about an hour for a little bit of a nap and ready for the evening. And when we got up, the wind was wanting to carry everything away. So we made a decision to limit it just a little bit, lower the towers, keep operating. In the middle of doing that, the wind got so bad that we had about 4 or 5 people holding the tent down so it wouldn't blow away. So at that point, we had to make the call to go ahead and end field day for safety reasons. So from a public aspect, fantastic. Had a lot of new people show up, had a lot of public. We had a state representative there. We had, was it Color 10? Color 10 that was there. Got a lot of publicity. A lot of people got in, able to look around. So from a public aspect, went very well. Probably the best we've had in years, I would say. From a contest standpoint, unfortunately, because of the wind and having to tear down early, we did not fulfill the goal that we set out to do to try and win. But that was definitely not anything to do with the fantastic work that everybody put into it. It was purely weather related. So, and it's not just us. There was clubs all around Southwest Missouri that tore down because of it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, do we have how many contacts were made? Points?
It was somewhere between 60 and 70 contacts. Usually what happens is we have a lot of the public stuff during the day, a lot of setup stuff like that, so the contacts are a little light during the day, and then overnight is when we really get a lot of them going, because we have people just sitting there, there's no public around, it's kind of just operating only, and unfortunately we didn't get to do that. So we tore down and probably stopped operating about 10:30, and we were out of there by about midnight or midnight 30. So unfortunately with the contact side, it wasn't great. We did get a lot of bonus points though. State representative showed up, a lot of different stuff, but it's nothing that's going to compete with the people who were able to operate full time. So, but we've learned a lot of good stuff. We've already had a debriefing meeting about it. There was a couple things that I think we're going to try to change next year, mainly trying to not use those tents because for weather, they just don't work very well. So either an enclosed gazebo style thing where you can get 50 people in there that have walls, or possibility of a trailer that's pre-set up. There's a lot of stuff in the works, but that's definitely a change that'll happen next year for the better.
Can we do an after-action report? I mean, a debriefing with who?
So the field day committee had a debriefing over all of the different things, but Franklin will be giving a presentation tonight
Yeah.
about all of field day and
Kind of a
different
recap.
things. So it'll be a little bit of a public debriefing on it.
Point of interest, Patrick made 49 contacts while you guys were set up and doing stuff with his 9-volt battery.
That's fantastic.
That's good.
So that does kind of prove that we can run Morse code, digital, like I just told all the other stuff.
Oh, yeah. That,
And QRP as well, because every point you made, well, every point I made,
kind
got 2 points for CW and 5 times for QRP. So
yeah.
each one of your points, I got 10 for each of those.
Yeah, next year, I think what we're gonna do, we kind of had a little bit of a dedicated station for digital, but not as well pointed out as we'd like. So next year, one of the 3 stations is gonna be basically a pure digital and Morse only. So it'll be operating 24 hours as either Morse code or digital, most likely FT8. But
You're gonna
anybody
stick
can
to
do it.
QRL,
What's that?
gonna stick to QRL.
No, probably not. So it depends on how we do our point multiplier, but this is our next year, it'll probably be at 149 at the high. So that'll keep us down.
Sorry,
149 watts. You're talking power?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and more than 100 watts.
No, it's
More than 5 watts, actually.
yeah, well, we won't be doing QRP all the time. We can have that as a rig. We'll at least be running 100 watts, but the limit for your different point levels is 150 watts.
Okay.
So we'll be running 149 watts on one of the stations to get just that watt right under what the stipulation is.
Okay.
And just kind of to extrapolate on that just a tiny little bit, We did have the Kenwood station, which was Station 3, set up with software on the computer to run digital. Kind of like Jordan said, maybe that wasn't as well publicized as maybe we would like to have had it. I know kind of whenever we had been discussing with the field day committee and whenever we made a few comments at a couple of the meetings before then, I don't think anyone had really expressed an interest to have like just a dedicated digital only station. That's definitely something we could work in had the interest been brought up. But we've talked about for next year, and I think we're going to go ahead and try to do that, and work in where we have one of the stations that is digital only. Anyone that wants to come up and work it, they can, just like any of the other stations. So that's kind of one of the changes that we're thinking about for next year from the standpoint of the field data committees.
See, you could have had that. Robert was digital only.
Well, I know, but no one knew that until a week before field day.
The one thing that we've taken away from
Robert
this.
is always digital only.
Yeah, the one thing that we've taken away from this is that we are absolutely gonna continue next year with the organized stations that are set up.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do next year is try to incorporate him in the beginning planning for digital and stuff like that. But next year, the one rule that we're definitely gonna stick with is there will only be the coordinated stations that run W0 EBE. And that's not from a standpoint of excluding
Well,
anybody.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert has been digital for at least 5 years now. That's all he does. Robert just brings his rig
Right.
and he does digital.
We've definitely got that in the mix of our conversation. It has to be dealt with in a way that we make sure that we operate for the entire 24 hours, that, the station that's there has to be there the entire time. There's a lot of little things to go into with it, but he's definitely gonna be in the mix for next year to be able to head that digital station up,
Yeah.
if he wants to.
He would have been there 24 hours because he would have brought his little motor home and.
Yeah,
He was planning.
Yeah, it's a matter of, some of the logistics too, of where the radio is and having it hooked up and available for everybody, that kind of stuff. We just have to hit all the different little, stuff with it, so.
Yeah, definitely something that we're planning towards next year. So with that, is there any other new business that needs to be brought up? Anything anyone wants to discuss or any ideals that they have for anything coming up?
Point of interest,
Yes.
Judith and I, and we'll probably get with Jordan on this one, we are gonna make filters for the station so that we can run a lot of stations without
Kind of
jumping on
interfering
the
with
next-
each other.
next
I
one,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of videos that I've watched on YouTube of field day operations. A lot of them use bandpass filters, just kind of like you said, to keep people from kind of interfering with
It is
each other.
well,
it's a
close by.
fantastic way.
The field day that we had at the Red Cross, where I had everything that you're running on solar, we had more stations there than just our 3A. They were, of course, operating their own call signs, but they came out to join us for field day. And a lot of the operators were simply using bandpass filters. We had very little interference from anything but the charge controller on the solar. So we clicked it over to non-pulse width modulation.
Well, and,
So
surprisingly, with the power we were running and the space we had for antennas, we didn't really have too much interference issues this last go around. Obviously, if you got close to each other on the same band, there's no way around that, even with band pass. But overall, even from a harmonic standpoint, we did pretty well. But there's no reason to not use band pass filters just because it helps all that bit. And it's also going to be a good opportunity too, that Jeff and I were talking about earlier, that it's going to be a chance for people to get in and learn how they're designed as well, maybe even help build them. So there's an educational standpoint to it too.
yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. And looking at towards next year, maybe one of our programs for one of our upcoming meetings is maybe we could build a couple of these.
We were talking about that on one of his tech days, that
Yeah, we could do that, incorporate that into Tech Day as well, definitely. So I guess if there's not any other new business, a couple things that's not really right upcoming, but it's kind of on the horizon that I was thinking about that I kind of did want to mention is coming up the first part of September is the annual Route 66 on the Air event. It's an event that kind of has two components for us. We usually traditionally do like a kickoff event the first day of Route 66, and then it stretches for about a week after that. So people usually operate from home and stuff in that capacity as well. We kind of did talk a little bit about it at the field day debriefing meeting for the field day committee, kind of some ideals that we had for Route 66. Of course, that will get brought up with the rest of the group as, kind of stuff gets developed and everything. But I did want to keep that in everyone's mind. Probably in all likelihood for the kickoff of it, it'll be very similar to like what we've done in the past. It'll probably be like maybe one station and a group of people probably operating from the morning through to like late afternoon, early evening, and then we'll close up. So if you kind of want to maybe volunteer to help out with that, kind of be thinking about that. And then of course, like I said, for about a week after that, the event continues. And traditionally what we have done is if you wanted to work that event, because it's kind of partially kind of spearheaded by Bob Heil. He's kind of the one who got us, well, not kind of, he is the one who got us into the event. And he's kind of spearheaded it from the logistics standpoint of communicating with the parent club that runs the whole event and everything. So what he usually likes to have us do is to contact him through his email. He'll ask, okay, what bands are you wanting to operate and at one time, so that he can make sure that he's got coverage throughout most of the event and people aren't kind of operating on the same bands and frequencies at the same time. So if you're interested in that, I don't know his email off the top of my head, but it's
K9EID@ARRL.org. I'm not sure, actually.
So he's really accessible and easy to get a hold of. So just if you're interested in working that week-long portion, get a hold of him. If you're interested in working the kickoff event, Jack, W0KY, is who usually kind of spearheads that from the club. So contact Jack, and he can let you know the particulars once we get that all ironed out and everything. It is still a couple months away, but I just kind of wanted to leave that in everyone's mind to think about. And then the other event, which is even a month past that, if we're still doing it in October, would be the annual Guns and Radio Club picnic at Jeff and Judith's house. So I don't think we've set a date for that yet. It's probably a little bit early, but just kind of be thinking about that. That's always a fun event for everyone in the club. We usually do have some radios out there. People can make contacts if they want to. Jeff has got a couple shooting ranges. He's awesome about gun safety and everything, so I don't feel nervous about that. If you've got any kind of guns that you want to bring out, whether you want to just look at them, talk about them, or actually shoot them, he's got that ability to do that as well. Plus, we do it as a club potluck picnic dinner and everything. If you just want to sit around and talk to people, that's perfectly fine as well. So kind of be thinking about that. That's usually somewhere, well, last year we did like the first or second weekend. Yeah, and we did like about the first or second Saturday of October. So that it's not super warm, but it's not super cold either. So kind of keep that in mind as well. And I guess with that, does anyone else have anything to bring up? Steve?
Well, I think we ought to probably go back a little bit to Route 66 because the event organizer, the guy who's been in charge of it's not here.
Oh, okay, yes.
We need two events. We need a kickoff event and we need to have one during. I don't know if there's, I didn't look at the calendar and see if that coincides with a meeting night. Meeting nights would be great because we could set something up here that works.
What's the day it starts?
7th through the 15th.
The 7th through the 15th. I don't think that's going to be on a meeting day, but let me check. Yeah, the 7th is the first Saturday of September, so the meeting would actually be on the 21st.
Okay.
But it's not going to be the same day as the meeting.
So we need operators and we need to have that kickoff event. I know we've always done it over at the park.
Route 66 Park, except for last year.
Which we didn't do anything.
Well, we didn't do anything on the the first day of the event. We did the kind of Route 66 / barbecue at Jordan's house the next day. The reason we didn't do anything on the opening day was because it was pouring like a monsoon.
Okay, ARRL's email is .net.
.net.
So neither of the previous.
So then it would just be K9EID.
K9EID@ARRL.net, yeah.
But we also need to have, if y'all want to operate, should we use the club email?
Yeah, SMARC@SMARC.org, as long as that doesn't get broken tonight. So.
I mean, we might as well, that's what it's there for.
So anyone that wants to operate, send your name, call sign, and availability, I guess, to our club webpage, or club email, SMARC@SMARC.org. And we're gonna figure out something for an event. Anybody who has paid their membership, we've got an invite to join a groups.io page. A lot of you have. If you got the invite, it's not bogus, it's something that we've got for paid members. And right now, that's probably gonna be our best way to get information to you about what we're doing, other than on the Facebook page. So if you're not on Facebook, you still have an option to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and he brought that up. That is a great thing. They do have the groups.io reflector set up. If you don't make meetings, if you aren't on Facebook for whatever reason, I get some people just don't like it. That's a way that we can still get information out to you. And like he did say, that is for paid club members only at this point. So other than that, coming to meetings, going to the Facebook page, even if you're not a member of Facebook and have an account, you can still go to the page and see stuff that's posted. You just can't interact with the page.
Yeah, you just can't post.
And like he said, also, if you send, hey, I'd like to help out with Route 66 on the air to the club email address, and we've got your email that way. When stuff comes up, because I've done this before with Safe and Sound, you can send an email to everyone at one time. Hey, this is what we're thinking about what we're doing. This is what time we're going to meet, and so on and so forth. So that even if you miss a meeting, you're not on Facebook, you don't go to the Facebook page, you don't listen to the announcements on the Friday Night Net because say you were busy that Friday night and you couldn't listen to the net. You've still got that email that you can get that information. And I know there's even some people that don't have email, but it's kind of becoming very small number of people who don't have email. Pretty much everyone has at least one email. So.
And we also have a PO box.
Yeah, so you can actually mail us.
You want to write us a
mail.
letter?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
My name is Gary, it's IRM. I used to be a club member years ago. The Route 66 thing interests me. I've got an RV with a complete APEX setup. And I have been out to Gay Parita, if any of you know where that's at.
I'm not familiar with it, but
There's a 1930 gas station on Old Route 66,
Okay.
west of Halltown.
I've probably seen it then, but just didn't realize what it was.
They've invited me out there quite often to operate.
Okay.
And I work for the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office. We do a car show out there in May. But that'd be a perfect place to go out and set up for a couple of days and operate Route 66.
So you talked to Gary's daughter,
Yeah.
and she's real cool with coming out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They even made a
Well, Steve, opportunity
parking
now.
spot for my RV. We were gonna do field day out there this year, and we ended up doing it on the road.
I was gonna approach the Air and Military Museum of the Ozarks for our kickoff date, but I haven't been there yet, so I don't know what reception, because they are a Route 66 business.
Well, they're very receptive. They provide electricity for my trailer. Most of the time, they start cooking out when they show up. So,
Well, anything we do like that is gonna be beneficial to Bowen, because on a special event, you know, you would not know where you're at.
Not yet. no.
I've done several
I was
National
taking
Weather
notes,
Service
sorry.
special events. It's not about how many contacts, it's about making contact. And I had our, at the time, she was the water coordinator, kind of, because I was talking to some guy on an LST sitting in the east somewhere, because they were having a special event, World War II based on the LST. So we're chatting back and forth about the thing. And so we're not just promoting Route 66 on the air, we're promoting where we are. So,
Yeah, it makes a big splash, and there's a ton of tourists. I think they have around 20,000 people a year come through.
I don't know. I've been, if you guys have been through Halltown, there's an antique store that has closed. It was called Whitehall Antiques. That guy
Yeah, it
had,
used to be the general store in the post office years ago.
he had a visitor's book. Just on one page, I saw 6 different countries of people that come through on Route 66.
Yeah.
So we can, through ham radio, promote someone's Route 66 business and also our ham radio hobby. It's just kind of a win for both of them, for everybody. But, you know, this is the kind of thing that we need to set up. I know it's fun to do it at Jordan's house and set up a system. And
It's not great for as many people as we'd like to come to.
right. I mean, if you're out at Gatorita, which, if y'all are friends with me on Facebook, I got pictures of it. We were just out there a couple weeks ago.
That's a pretty neat place.
And then just on down around the road, is a place called Spencer, which is a Phillips 66 station that's from the 30s. So, you know, this is a great opportunity. It's also a lot of fun to do the event, so.
And I don't know if it's just me, kind of makes it a little bit extra special and cooler to do a Route 66 themed event actually on a stretch of old Route 66.
Yeah, right.
That's what I think would be awesome about it. And plus it's got the station, and it may not be the exact one that I've seen, but I think I've seen one in a couple different documentaries before that I've seen about Route 66.
You worked at Teletech, you went in the back break room.
I know,
Pictures.
we were discussing that the other day. So yeah, that sounds like that would be a great opportunity. Maybe you and Steve can get together and maybe make contact.
gmail.com, Gary, or I'll connect with you.
And Hometown is not that far, right?
We'll make sure you get it.
So, and then the other thing that Jordan had reminded me of that I'd forgotten not only last night, but today as well. Darn brain. A week from today, next Saturday, is actually our third quarter tech day at Jordan's house. So if you've got any kind of electronic devices, does not have to be radio related. You got a scanner, you got a clock or something, it's not working right, or you just want to learn more how it works, bring it with you. We'll open it up. If there's something wrong with it, we'll try to see if we can figure out what's going on with it and maybe fix it for you. We can't guarantee that we can fix everything, but we'll try to see what we can do. If you just want to open it up and see how it works, awesome, we can do that as well. Jordan's got a lot of different tools and a lot of test equipment at his house. It's also kind of a bit of a social event as well. So if you want to come and talk to other hams and other people and everything, that's great. We didn't have, no media showed up last time, did they?
No.
The first time we did this in January, TY3 showed up. We were all shocked and surprised. They actually ran it on the
They drug him
5 or
shower.
6 o'clock news
I was still on
that night.
coveralls when they showed up.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was great. And we even had someone who showed up, like about 8:30, 10 o'clock, who drove up from Branson because he'd seen it on the evening news broadcast.
It's a good day for a lot of different things. We're all amateurs here, so we're not gonna be able to get in and just tell you a lot of the times exactly what's wrong and have everything. But we've done a lot of fixes over the time and a lot of stuff, and really it's just a place to come and learn about radios too.
Yeah, if you have a new radio that you want programmed, we do our best to program it. If you don't understand how it works, we'll do our best to explain it. It gets going.
Last time in April, Steve brought his laptop. He's got Chirp on it. He's got all the different frequencies and stuff like you see on the website. He's put together several code plugs for a lot of the newer digital DMR radios that he can help program those as well. And I think he's got either like a multi-cable or he's got several different cables. But if you've got your own programming cable that came with your radio, bring that with you because that would probably be nice. And then just kind of a couple other guidelines. It's family friendly, it's fun, bring the kids and everyone, just if you've got small little kids, because we may have hot soldering irons going, we may have open exposed circuits. One time we were working with an amplifier that definitely is going to have high voltage running through it.
800,
Just
900 volt.
Just make sure they're supervised because we don't want anyone to accidentally touch something and get hurt. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. But other than that, bring the kids, bring everyone, bring anyone who's interested in radio or just electronics in general. It's a fun event.
Did you say that there was a date for this next one?
It's next Saturday,
Yeah,
a week from today.
Yes, 27th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
11
We always go past 10 p.m., usually until 1 o'clock, so don't be afraid to show up last minute. Lunch and dinner are provided. The only thing we ask is you bring a side dish or dessert. Drinks and meat are taken care of. Just bring a side dish or dessert. And we're not coordinating any of it. We can't have too much potato salad. So.
And when we leave, when Jody comes out with a baseball bat.
Fudge, right?
Yes.
And see, officially, I have to ask, and I'm going to put you on the spot slightly because there's this debate between me and Mom, and I know I always get it mixed up. Is your name Joni or John?
John.
Okay,
Everybody says Joni when they see
I know, but I'm just like, Mom's like, her name's Johnny, isn't it? And I'm like, well, I'm not for sure which way it's pronounced, and I never want to ask.
She
And
hasn't
she
got
also
a,
makes the best barbecue chicken you'll ever taste on Tech Night.
she hasn't got a real name yet.
Huh?
She hasn't got a real name
Her
yet.
call sign?
Her call.
Yeah.
Working on
It
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Is that open to non-members?
Yes.
it. Yes. Open to everybody.
All of our events and functions, you do not have to have your license, and you do not have to be a member. I
So-
don't remember it.
We have that on website, Facebook, everywhere, and if you don't have access to any of those, I can get it to you today before you leave.
Is it on the SMARC website?
Yes,
Yes, should be.
it'll be everywhere tonight, so.
His address is at the corner of Radio Lake.
Radio Lane and 147.
Oh, seriously, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Right by the zoo. Yes, yes. So kind of, if you're familiar, that outer road that runs alongside
Old
the zoo,
13.
it's just past the zoo. So I think that's everything that I can think of. It's about 5:45 till 6. I got a text from Rodney. He's trying to hurry, but he is running late. So is there anything else that anyone wants to bring? Okay, so should I go ahead and see if we have a motion to adjourn to eat, and then
I motion to
we can do that afterwards? Okay, I got, do I have a second? I think that I had like a second and third, so everyone, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Jeff, you can't do that. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll adjourn, we'll go ahead and get some food, and then after that, we'll do the recap presentation for Phil Day.
I have a question for you. You said your phone was good.
Yeah, yeah, you like-
We do.
I know it's expired.
Have you got the training?
No, but I'll take care of all that myself.